If you've ever known on most of the day Sunday that your day on Monday is going to be absolutely fantastic, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. It is Monday. Happy Monday. It is a victory Monday, and we're back. I'm going to get you set for the market here. We do have 13 joining us a little bit later. Let's go ahead and roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Hello and good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you all are rested and had a great weekend because now it is time to start the work week. Federico, good to see you, man. Welcome, AC2000. Edward, Richard, Alex, good as always. Hopefully you're doing well down there, Alex. Hustle, Let's Talk, Beach Bum, Mitosis, what a sweet name from our Twitter viewers out there. Shaka, good as always. Crimpus, holding it down. Wiss, I had a really good golf round on Saturday. Played with my buddy who is a scratch golfer. I tell you what, he tells me what to do and I execute. And the shot is incredible. Hope you're doing well. JJ, welcome back. X-Sniper, Lion Atlas, Oslem, welcome. Dan, Beach Bum Trading, and everyone else that joined us. Happy Monday. Again, hope you guys all had a great weekend. Of course, Chicago Bears absolutely dominated, so we're here on a victory Monday, and we're going to be happy all day long. Let's take a look at the market, and we are going to start here with the SPY. Big thing here is that we're actually in the pre-market a little weak here. We're back beneath this trend line. So last week, or on Friday, we had a decent day there, right? We ramped in on the print in the morning, on the jobs print in the morning. We sold all the way back off down to the pre-market lows, held those lows, and then traded up the rest of the day right near the highs. Now, so far in the pre-market, we traded down. In fact, if we look at an intraday chart here, you can see we actually traded down pretty much to where we were messing around with this trend line on Friday. So my big thing here today is, do we actually continue to have some of this weakness? I was looking earlier, VIX is elevated here, 21.5 looked like the high print, currently sitting at about 21 at the moment. So what I'm looking at here for the broader market is, do we continue this move down, or do we kind of trade sideways and hold here? We're supposed to have a bunch of Fed speakers today. I think Goolsbee is talking today. So we'll see what they do to the market here. But this is basically what I'm looking at. If we stay under this trend line, I think inevitably we roll over and trade down towards this 554 area. That's going to be your 50-day moving average. We can reassess what the market kind of feels like and what the macro picture looks like if and when we get there. But what I'm going to be looking at here for the market is going to be, do we stay under that or not? I have no positions right now, market related, or broader market related, I should say. So I have no Qs or SPY or SQQQ or any of those. We'll see if we get an opportunity to add any of those. So that's pretty much what I got here for the broader market. If you folks have any thoughts on the broader market and all of that, let me know. But let's go ahead and get to everyone's favorite point, and let's talk about some of those movers, because these are going to be some of the stocks that we're going to day trade here today. I'm going to go over to the movers list here, and the first one is going to be CHSN. Now, by the time Friday afternoon rolled around, I was pretty much wrapping up with my work week. I wasn't really trading a whole lot. I was actually trying to cut out a little bit early. This went bananas in the afternoon on Friday before the market closed, and then just went 2x bananas in the after hours. I was talking to Crow, who I think was trading this on Friday. Shout out to you, Crow. You did an amazing job. This likely going to be on deck today again for some relative volume, right? Had a big day on Friday. There was no news for this. And so we'll see where this goes here today. It looks like this hit a high of almost 45, came all the way back in here, sitting at about 13. This is really kind of where it was at in the after hours before it really ramped. Remember, in the after hours, there's no halt. A lot lower volume. Things are a lot more spready. So you saw a huge move out of this. Keep this one on your radar. No news here, at least as far as I could find. If you guys have anything for this one, I'd love to hear it. But I haven't found any news on this. This might just be a momentum play. Carmen is saying it sure did, and I could find no reason why. Carmen, great minds think alike. I couldn't either. I was looking at some of this on Friday when it got mentioned, and then I checked again here today. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Again, just kind of feels like a momentum pump. Jane saying Schwab would not let me buy any shares. I never tried. I never tried here. If I did trade this today, it would be in the prop account, not in the Schwab account, not in Thinkorswim. So I'm unsure of that, but there you go. Frankly, on something like this with no real good catalyst, probably best that you stay away from it. These things can be extremely risky, but we'll see what happens. It's worth mentioning, and I want all of you folks to be as prepared as possible. Okay, so that's CHSN. This was a huge pump and dump. See, smoke tonight, that's kind of what I'm thinking here too. Really no catalyst. Maybe it gets rolling here again just because of the volume, but be careful. We might have some better opportunities here. Okay, let's keep moving on. Now, the next one here actually does have something going on. This is ticker SRRK. Okay, that's going to be Sierra Romeo Kilo. And this is Scholar Rock Holding. Now, we do have a catalyst here. Scholar Rock Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line results from a phase 3 Sapphire clinical trial evaluating the efficacy and safety of one of its drugs in patients with SMA. The study achieved its primary endpoints. So really, really good stuff here. This getting a good data from a phase 3 trial. And now the stock is popping here. We're actually currently sitting up here 226%. Really, really extended, but on a fairly decent catalyst. Now, a couple of things that we should mention here about SRRK, which will probably lead to it being on deck here today, at least for some of the traders. First thing that we want to take a look at here is going to be the short interest. Now, we do have elevated short interest. In fact, we're going to be due for another short interest update here in the next several days. But from the one from the end of September, we have almost 45% of its float shorted and almost 26 days to cover. And now we have this gigantic good catalyst. Look out. This thing has squeeze potential. It's already squeezing, in my opinion, and could possibly do that some more. So just beware here. This is what's going on. Huge short interest. The stock moving to the upside. Again, I have made no trades on this, so I don't know if there's any type of broker anything on it, whether you can't buy it or you have to call the desk to buy it or there's a short sale restriction. I have no idea. All I know is that this stock has a huge catalyst. It's up huge and it has huge short interest. Now, really quickly, we should look at the financials here. Stock did have about 94 million bucks on its balance sheet. However, when it's doing these trials, you can see this company burns almost 50, anywhere between 40 and 50 million per quarter. So it really only has a 2-quarter runway here. We'll see what happens after this now that the phase 3 trial here is done. So really good news. It popped the stock. I'm definitely going to put this on watch here today. I love to see that we're just right here at the VWAP. This is going to be one of those where I'm going to wait out this opening print, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see if profit takers step in here. Let's see how spready it is. Let's see how it's trading. Let's see what the volume appetite is for this stock. But this probably on the list here, one of the top new movers here this morning. Next is going to be Napa. And I was actually kind of chuckling when I saw this one. Napa here, this is going to be a takeover. Duckhorn portfolio shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Also, the company announced it's into a definitive agreement to be acquired by private equity funds manager Butterfly Equity. Okay, now, couple of things here. First of all, for all of you winos like me, and actually we're entering the season here, it might be wine time starting next weekend. Duckhorn is delicious wine. I'm a fan of the Cab. I don't really like Merlot, although the Merlot has a lot of fans out there. Duckhorn, this is also Decoy, which is a cheaper version of the Duckhorn wine, is also in that portfolio. You've probably had that at parties, seen it in the grocery store, the whole 9 yards. So this portfolio here acquired. There is no trade here on this one. The one thing that I will say is, maybe this kind of kicks up sympathy. I'd be curious if you folks have any other wine vineyards or any other wine stocks. I would be curious to know what they are, and I would just kind of watch them, maybe poke through some of the news when I have some free time. So no trade here on ticker NAPA, but that's what's going on with this. And we'll see. We'll see if this provides any other trading opportunities. Kate Father saying, was up at Duckhorn last year. I bet you had a great time up there. I bet you had a great time up there. Ryan, I like water. Okay. I like water too, but wine is amazing, frankly. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Next is going to be MYTE. This is MYT Netherlands parent company, I think. This was actually not on my list when I went through it earlier. Looks like we do have some news here. It's going to acquire what? Net a Porter? I don't even know what that is. For 555 million euro cash deal, issuing 33% equity stake. Okay, so that's what's going on here with this one. This company looks to be taking over another one, so this one's not halted. I don't know. I actually have to read through this, and like I said, this wasn't on the list this morning when I did my prep work. So when I get some more time, I'll poke through this here. If you folks have anything on this one that you think is important to know, definitely throw it in the chat. I'll take a look at this one here. Maybe 13 was on this one when he shows up. Unsure, but this one here gapping up 43%. Let's take a look at some of the other metrics here. Really nothing to speak of in terms of short interest here. Let's look at insider transactions. Don't really have anything there. How about financials? Okay, company is cash flow positive. That's good to see here, and has a little bit of cash on the balance sheet, so probably not looking to do an offering. Now, I wonder what they did to finance the acquisition of this company. Anyway, let me poke through that. I don't know enough about that just yet. Really haven't gone through that yet, but that's what's going on here. Ticker MYTE up because it looks like it's acquiring another company here. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Miss anything from you guys? Nope. Okay. Jay said frog sleep. I think you mean stag's leap. Stag's Leap, my favorite winery right now. They make awesome reds. Okay, next on the list here is going to be ALTM, and this also has a catalyst here. I don't necessarily want to say that this kind of fits into the uranium thing that we have been looking at for the last couple of weeks. This is a lithium player. Arcadia Lithium shares are trading higher after the company announced that it has been approached by Rio Tinto regarding a potential acquisition. So you're getting acquisition news here. Nothing is finalized. ALTM ripping on this news, up almost 37% here. Was actually up more than that earlier, in the after hours on Friday. So we'll see here right away, just looking for a trade. You can see we've actually made a high here in the pre-market. Got this at right about 425. So if we can take that off, I would say that the next level here, 450, is pretty much on deck. Now, I do want to see how this one trades once we open. I don't necessarily want to front run this move. Let's see what happens here right out of the open. If it breaks that, I'll probably sit it out. If it breaks this upside move, I'll probably sit it out and wait for it to settle. But let's see. If this pulls back to the VWAP and hold there, I would like that set up a lot more. But we'll see here. ALTM, that's what's going on. Really quick, while we're in this, let's check out some of the other metrics here. Short interest, 7.83%. There's some, but it's not crazy. Days to cover, 6.68. I don't really think it's all that crazy. Financials here, company is cash flow, or company has cash on the balance sheet. Looks like it has been cash flow positive the last 2 quarters. Looks like it's been burning some of that, but nothing out of place there with the financials, it looks like. And if we take a look at some of the insiders here, looks like there was some buying back in May, but these grants here, not purchases on the open market. So I'm don't really think, that there's anything we can take away from that. Let's see here on ALTM, another decent setup for us today. All right. Next on the list here is going to be GSIW. This is going to be another I'm going to call this a momentum mover. We've taken a look at GSIW a lot recently. I feel like this has showed up on the scanner almost every single day, the relative volume scanner. When you get big volume moves like this, that's often going to happen. Looking back a couple of days, some days it does, other days it doesn't. But in any case here, if we take a look at a 15-minute chart, you can see, look at this nice little staircase that it's making on the way up. So this is garden stage. We should all be familiar with this. I don't know if this is a hold overnight. That's certainly not something that I'm going to do, but we will watch this for some day trading opportunities. I think someone else was on this earlier. Carmen watching this one. Is this garden stage? Are you saying that this is wine related? Could that be? Hong Kong based financial services provider. No, that is not going to have anything to do with wine. Okay. Maybe you were just asking. That was about a different comment. Nonetheless, still a trading opportunity here in GSIW. Would love to see maybe some more expanding volume when the market opens. A push through this 243. Let's not find resistance at VWAP. Let's actually push through VWAP. You folks have been really, really good at spotting these opportunities in real time. So here's another one that you can add to the watch list, ticker GSIW. Really quickly, just a reminder here, GSIW, 4.15 million float, and we've actually already traded over the average volume for the past 100 days. So looking pretty good here, GSIW. Now, next is going to be pets. Good luck if you trade this one. I've traded some of these names here in the past. Dog Z, Pet Z, all of these names. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. Now, this did pop in the after hours. It's actually maintaining some of its pop here today. We'll see what happens here next. I didn't think there was any news on this. Yep, nothing new. So this just looks like kind of a momentum move. Follow your technicals. Follow the volume flow here. It has done a fairly decent job of holding the low at about 160 that it put in on Friday in the after hours. We'll see if it can push off this level, have some decent room here to VWAP. So maybe that's a trade. And if it gets above VWAP, maybe we get another trade. You can see here, though, already this morning, although we've popped above VWAP, we really haven't got a huge run. You'd like to see a little bit bigger run. And this right in here, I'll be honest, this concerns me. We had a really nice volume stick. We pushed away from that VWAP. We immediately came back. Then we broke it. Then we went lower to hunt for that support level that's lower here. So not sure how I feel about PetZ. Not my primary target here today. Anthony, I love this. This is about as accurate as it gets. PetZ is wild, indeed. Now, if wild is something that you're looking for, or something that you can stomach, or something that your risk profile allows you to trade, this might be something for you. I likely am going to stay away from that, though. Okay, let's see. A couple more that I wanted to mention here real quick. Ambo, this is Ambo Education Holdings. Shares are trading higher after the company announced it entered into a $1.3 million non-exclusive annually renewable licensing agreement with Inspiring Futures. So, okay, looks like it's popping here a little bit. I'm probably going to stay away from this one. I'd love to see how this actually trades. 22 million in the float. On average, the stock, oh my God. On average, this stock trades less than 10,000 shares per day. Less. And today it's traded just about 600,000. Okay, we'll see what happens when this opens up here. I'm going to remain in the skeptical camp until this can prove that it's going to be a decent trader here for us. Next is going to be Tiger. And we had nothing. This is ticker TIGR. This was a great play on Friday. I think I took this off my screen a little early. And you folks did a really good job sticking with it. We actually dipped right out of the open, reclaimed the VWAP, traded along it, pushed away from it on volume. And unlike the last stock that we just took a look at, that actually kept going, right? We continued to trade higher. Volume stayed good. We actually took another leg higher here today. Part of me wonders if we have a 15 test coming on here. Definitely keep ticker TIGR on your watch list here for today. Definitely want to see what the opening print looks like. And really, for us to have some more upside trading, we're going to need to see some pretty good volume flow in this one as well. ADTX, I feel like we talk about this one all the time. We had this one run on Friday right out of the open and then really, really sell off. I hope nobody got caught in that one. But this is going here. We'll see if this gives us another trade here today. We should be familiar with this one, so just be ready. And then LX was the last one on the list here, although it is gapping up. This one also a beneficiary of the China stimulus that we've seen recently. Okay. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, good morning. Still got power for at least 2 more days. So, yeah, and that's the other thing I wanted to address here real quick. First of all, I know that people in the Carolinas are still trying to recover from Hurricane Helene. We hope everything is going well with you and your family. I know that, what was it, Wednesday, that Milton is supposed to make landfall in Florida. Man, I hope all of you folks are okay down there. As far as the trade, Lynn, already on it early here in a Monday. Generac, so ticker GNRC, HD, low, ticker MAS. I would add ticker FLR on there as well. More hurricane plays. Generac is actually gapping up here this morning. We'll see what happens. So hope all of you folks in Florida stay safe. I actually talked to one of my coworkers who lives in Florida. She said that they're preparing. They're basically preparing. They know it's coming. They've been through these before and they're preparing. So I hope all of you, all of our Southern friends here, doing well. All of our Southern friends doing well. Good news. He back. Bang, 13. Happy Victory Monday, boss. How are you doing here today?
I'm doing pretty good. We had a lot of good wins yesterday in our teams, didn't we?
We did. We had a really, really good day yesterday. I'll tell you what, like I said, I've been a fan of football my entire life. You never know what the next day brings. So when you have Victory Mondays, you got to celebrate them. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Been doing that for years, and this year is no different. So 13, glad to have you back. Basically what I did here, I'm done. This is normally where I would turn over to the chat here to talk about any of the other stocks that you'd want to.
Let's do it.
13, if there's anything that you want to start with or mention, you're welcome to do so. I basically covered the SPY. We fell back under the trend line. Looks like the SPY is going to open up lower here. We'll see if we move down or up. And then I went through a couple of these big movers. If you need me to go over any of them and kind of give you the TLDR on them, I'd be happy to do that. But is there anything you're looking for?
I just looking at the scanners this morning. I noticed that SRRK is going. That's what on phase 3 data. So. And that's like the only one I took a look at this morning. Is that one
SRRK, right? The phase 3? Yep.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I looked at. Looks like they have enough cash for at least another quarter of their burn rate. It looks good enough to trade.
Here's the big thing that I covered when I went over this one, 13. The big thing is we have a humongous catalyst that had good top line data. Stocks up 250%. But if you take a look at this short interest tab, oh my God, 45% of the float shorted, 20 plus days to cover. And now we have a catalyst driving this stock higher. I mean, this is squeezing, in my opinion, right now, could squeeze further. So this is kind of the biggest, I want to say, catalyst mover here today. And then as far, just to kind of run over, just to TLDR really quick, Napa, this is an acquisition, so no trade there. MYTE wasn't on my list. I'm kind of still, I haven't gone through the PR, so I don't feel totally up on it. ALTM, lithium rumor here, Rio Tinto to maybe make a merger and acquisition move. That's moving higher here. Nothing confirmed yet. GSIW, continued momentum. PET-Z seems like momentum, but I stay away from those because I've been hurt. Lynn and Randy, you guys know about Dog Z. You guys know about Dog Z and how much that stock ate me up. I'm going to stay away from that. Ambo, Tiger, LX, all continued momentum from last week.
Yeah, it looks like that SRRK looks like it wants to get going out of the open here. Also was watching Piedmont Lithium, PLL. That's been making some pretty good moves over the past week as well. So it's basically materials have been moving pretty well over the past week, especially the lithium plays. But yeah, PLL, that's when I noticed that went from single to double digits over this past week. What else are we looking at today too?
Well, the other piece of news really quick, I haven't looked at it yet, but the other piece of news is that Pfizer is up on an activist stake from Starboard here. So someone was asking about Pfizer a couple of weeks ago. I think you charted it for them. Hopefully this is working out for them, right? This nice little, on the daily here, you can see a series of higher lows, which is really good. Now we got the activists in there. What we have seen is that those activists has actually driven those stocks higher. So maybe that's what's coming here on Pfizer.
Yeah, I need to recapture 30 still. Every time it seems in this year that we've tried to get back above 30, it doesn't last too long. I'd like to see
Okay,
it get back
real
above
quick.
that goal. Sorry.
I'm going to read this. I'm back from Boone, North Carolina. Rapid progress, high spirits, power coming back in some areas, plenty of volunteers. Samaritan's Purse has thousands of boots on the ground, military choppers flying about. There is no try. This is a really good piece of news that you're bringing us. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I was talking to my buddy in South Carolina over the weekend. He said the amount of community help from just civilian volunteers and especially churches and local police forces has been unheard of. It's just they are carrying the load down there. So really, really awesome to hear that as well. Again, prayers for everyone down there. I know, I heard, I've seen pictures. Like I just said, prayers for everyone down there.
Yeah, and a lot of those places that are flooded, they didn't have flood insurance either. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to impact, I guess, insurance and maybe housing. Just kind of something that I was thinking about, because I saw that there was a lot of devastation in that area, and that most of those homes are not insured.
And then real quickly before we open up here, EAF. Jay Rice giving the group, he normally doesn't trade the low price stocks, but giving the group a call last week. This is up. We're up on this. Jay, it was a really good call. We're going to stay in this one as well.
This was Tim Melvin's, wasn't it? This one,
No.
This one in PHX.
I'm pretty sure Jay talked about this one. Then Tim got on here and added context to it. So I guess you could say that Jay and Tim like this one.
All right.
Double the power. We'll take it.
5 seconds.
5 seconds till we open here. I am feeling better, but I am going to blow my nose as soon as we open here. All right, 13. I'm going to put SRRK on the screen. Let me go blow my nose. I'll be our.
All right, you take care of that business. What are we else are we looking at here, folks? Looks like SRRK. First move is to sell a little bit, but still not losing too much ground here. Looking across the chat here for anything you guys want to take a look at.
All right.
All right, there he is.
All right, I'm ready to go, 13. We're going to have a great day here today.
Yeah, just kind of looking for something that's giving us some movement out of the open here. SRRK, first move was selling, but it's coming back up here, it looks like.
Let's see. What did I miss here?
There we go. Looks like SRRK is trying to turn green.
Yeah, let me take a look. So the spread's actually not terrible on this SRRK, at least not at the moment. It was spready earlier, so just be careful. Be careful on this one.
Now it's starting to get going there.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Let's see what it can do for us about 28.20. See what we get when it gets up there. Meanwhile, LX, first move is up. This one didn't really do a whole lot in pre-market. Very, very choppy.
LX, huh?
Low float. There we go. Now it's starting to move. First stop, 415. That looks like going to be the first resistance, and then we're going to look for 423 after that.
Lion, don't get started, man. Positivity today, man. Positivity today. Okay. Ooh, that did pop right there. SRRK, you wanted this above 28. Here we go. This still trading higher here. Let's see if we can get higher on SRRK. See if we get a 28 move there. I do see some size here at 2750. They've been hitting it. They're still hitting it. Let's see if it looks like they printed above and refilled some there.
Yeah, just with this one, this says like I think it was a 30 million something share float like that. So not necessarily a real small one like we like to see move around, but still not that big either.
Yep. Serve getting mentioned here. Let me check on that. That's been a mover for us on Serve. We'll see if this, here we go. Hey, nice. Good call there on Serve, Amir. This popping right out of the gate here. Didn't have this though.
Let's see. Where are we going with Serve?
Anthony, appreciate this. Be careful around 28, 29, likely to drop back on 30. So we'll see here if this does kind of come back in. I would be careful on SRRK. This is one of those stocks where if you have it, you should feel okay taking the gains. We've already had one of these huge moves. Yes, maybe we get another, so you can scale out if you get that. But otherwise, I would say if you get gains on this, you can be happy with it.
Looks like SRRK is trying to get to 10. I see that is the first resistance area. If you look to the left on the daily chart, you can see how that level was previously 10 was previously support, and then we broke beneath it. And now it is resistance. We get past that, I'd be looking for 11.15 after that.
Good call on that, 13. Good call on that. Costco ripping out of the gate here. Not surprised. Tesla selling off. Actually, Tesla pounding the lows. I know you guys asked about Tesla earlier. I wanted to finish up our list. I'm sorry about that. Here is your Tesla chart. Now, Tesla has the Robotaxi event. Is that on Thursday, I believe?
I do not know, but I know that it's coming up.
I believe that it is. Yep. Next step. Okay. That was for someone. Let me check here because I'm pretty sure Dennis mentioned. Yeah, it is on Thursday. Okay. So we'll see here what that means for Tesla. Looks like Tesla just getting sold right out of the gate here. I expect this to bounce at some point. See if Lynn and Randy give us a call on this. This actually stopping almost at those Friday lows. Watch for 245 if this keeps pulling.
Yeah, because I'm looking
Thursday
at
to 10. Thank you.
Yeah, 246 seems to be the level where they got support right now.
Yeah,
and that on the 5-minute chart, that actually resulted in a sub 20 RSI print. I don't want to say that it's going to rebound from here, but that was a good move off of that 426 or I'm sorry 246 level. Let's just see what happens here.
Lassie. So Lassie, this was that laser photonics. This thing made so this had a huge move up. They're advertising for this thing like crazy on CNBC. I mentioned that a number of times. And then today here, we've actually on the downside of this move, we sold off this morning and now we're halted to the upside here in the regular session. We got a PR this morning about a move to a 50,000 square foot facility. Okay. All right, so anyone trading Lassie, let me know. I'm not in this one. Just noticed that it was halted right there.
Well, I still have levels.
DJT is strong. Sorry, 13.
I still have levels from last time we traded LASE, so we're actually kind of right at one when we open. I'm going to be curious to see what it does, but 480 was one level I have. After this, we have 530, 555, and 590. Be the next upside targets I have on LASE.
Jay Rice mentioning Meta here. Meta just whipping out of the gate, printing 600, actually traded above 600 there. Is this the only Mag 7 that's doing well?
Nope.
Which is the other one? NVIDIA?
NVIDIA's doing well.
Yep.
Google is just hanging in there, and Microsoft also just turned green as well.
There you go. Appreciate you. You must have a watch list for that just on deck. That's how it's done, 13. You just love to see it, bro. You just love to see it.
I mean, if the market's going to be concentrated in those names, just figured it's probably a good idea to have a watch list of that. Here we go with LASE. We're open and we're going higher. We just hit 530.
MYTE halted to the downside. Here is your LASE printing above 5. Looks like it's trying to move higher here.
Yeah, next will be 555 and then 590. If we manage to continue breaking up through that, then I'll be looking at 680. Okay, serve went up to 980, came back in slightly beneath VWAP.
Sorry. Netflix trading lower, Apple trading lower here, Amazon trading lower here. Costco had that pop out of the open that was immediately sold back down to balance. Oh, yeah, one more thing. So I'm still carrying my Nike short from last week. That is working here. Just kind of a reminder here on Nike as this continues to move in our direction. I got asked a really good question when I talked about putting the short on. Where was my stop out at? At that point, I had my stop at about 85. Now that we've had this move down, I've actually moved my stop down to buy-in, right? So now my stop 83.20. If it pops back up there, I'll stop out of this. But I am looking for 75, 77 on a break below here on Nike. I'll update you as necessary on that.
But I hit 600.
Excuse me, sorry for the cough there. RIME got mentioned here in the chat. This is a penny stock moving up to VWAP. I also noticed that CHSN got mentioned here in the chat. That was that wild one from Friday that I missed out on. This looks like it's halted to the downside here.
Yeah, so Meta's printing 600 now.
Okay.
All-time highs.
Jay Harris, can you please give Tesla numbers again? I'd be happy to. What numbers are you referring to? The levels. Okay, if we're going to do the levels, let's go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to put this on the big chart just so it's easier to see. That might have been one of the reasons we didn't get them the first time. The only other thing that we talked about was the event on Thursday here. 13, I'll go ahead with my levels here. And then if you want to fill, I don't know if you already discussed them. I can't remember what they are. So I'll just let you do it. This 250 to 251 area here, definitely some resistance, was former support. We'll see what happens if we break above that. Another downside level I have here is going to be 240. And then I have the 200-day here at 224 to the downside.
Yeah, that 250 area is standing out to me as well. Ever since we dropped down there at the beginning of the month, we've pretty much remained down there. We've only had one close above 250 since we dropped beneath that price. And that wasn't even a very big close above it. So to me, with this formation that we're getting out of Tesla on the daily chart and the inability to recapture 250, that to me would indicate that we're likely going to go lower. The next support that we have is going to be the 20-day SMA, which is at 243.10 right now. After that, I have 232 and 226 as other further downside targets that we need some more support beyond the 20-day SMA.
Okay, really good stuff there. 13. Smart Guy says, as a guy with a show, you should never, in all caps, cough on air. You're absolutely right about that. And I have a hardware mute button. I'm normally pretty good at catching myself. So I apologize for really dropping the ball here. What I can promise you is that I will continue to try and be 2% better every day. And I will make that commitment here for you. So sorry about that. There you go, Jay Harris. Glad that was helpful. Let me go back to the scanner here. Let's figure out what's going on.
Well, LASC, after that open and pop up to 530, it halted again. So when we open, I guess we'll see what happens, but we still have the upside targets of 555 and 590 to get to if there's more upward movement.
SRRK actually looks like this is finding some resistance right here. Let's call it 27.5. You were looking for maybe a 28 pop on there. We might still get that here. This actually, Smoke Tuna, I'd like to get your opinion on this because you've been really just lights out at calling stocks that don't have strength anymore. I'm encouraged by the action that I've seen here, right? We kind of came back in. We traded up. The volume hasn't completely fallen off of the cliff. This to me seems encouraging. I'd be curious to get the opinions from the group as well.
That's 28.
And there, all added. There we go. There we
Thank you, Ryan.
go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any of you that have this, you're welcome. Any of you that have this, you're welcome.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you need a stock move, just have Ryan bring it up.
Whoa. Let's not make promises that Ryan can't keep. Okay, let's not do that. Good move here on SRRK. There's 29. Probably take gains here at 29 on this move.
Yep. There was also, I forget who, I'm sorry, but there was somebody in the chat mentioning that around 28, 29, it really starts to get heavy and could potentially reverse. I can see that happening too. Not a bad idea to maybe pay yourself on this pop that we're getting here.
Yep, definitely. 1 for 1 on a Victory Monday. That's how we start the week, baby.
Victory Monday continues.
Victory, that's right. that's right. That is right. Okay. Brian is saying, can you make the SPY go higher, Ryan? Thanks, LOL. Yeah. I mean, I can try, but I cannot guarantee my results, Brian. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. And actually, wouldn't the SPY going lower help my Nike short? I guess the SPY going higher would help some other stuff. Whatever. We'll see how it goes here today. All right. Ambo, this was another one that's moving higher here.
I know we've only been open for 12 minutes, but we're not even 3 million shares into this session yet with this S&P 500 or the SPY.
Yeah, remember
that seems a little low.
Most of that action seems to happen in the overnight, so we'll see. We'll see what we get here.
All right, SRRK getting a wild hair again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this continued to squeeze here. Like I said, if you're gonna hope for the bigger move, I think the plan of action here is to scale out. A lot of that is going to depend on how much risk you put on the trade to begin with. But in the effort of trying to make Victory Monday keep going here, we took our gains on that first one. Can always buy that back. If we get a pullback to VWAP, I've got that about 26.5. I'd be interested there.
Looking for serve to try and push into 10.
Okay.
Still hasn't really broken down, getting back above VWAP right now. 980 is the intraday high. Let's see what it can do here.
Looking around here at the swing account, which looks about flat. They have Portillo's. They got some. I don't really have anything crazy
my
here.
goodness. Great mention, Alex. I know that other folks were talking about GNRC, and I know that Lynn and Randy also did that. And look at this thing today.
Yeah,
getting a lot of eyes on it. Yep.
Huge move right out of the gate. We had Dennis talking about this earlier here. Lynn and Randy, before we even opened, gave you a list of the hurricane stocks, and GNRC is at the top of that list. Big move here.
Great stuff. Jay Rice mentioning Twillo, TWLO. He doesn't own it, but it's trying to go. We have AMR also mentioning ALTM. He's saying, here we go as well. Sorry if I'm moving around too fast.
You're good. You're totally good, dude. And actually, here's your Twilio chart. We got a gap fill here. This actually does look pretty good. I haven't looked at this chart in a little bit. Shout out to you for bringing this one to the group. Morning, Jay Wild. Good to see you again, boss.
Said never mind ALTM.
We got the whole fam back.
Yeah. Maybe it's not moving like quick, but I mean, that is a nice jump from Friday.
Stop me if you've heard this before, but Smoke Tuna with another excellent call. SRRK 29.5, looking to push up to 30 here. See if we get a pullback on this. I would say if you feel the FOMO for missing SRRK, the best thing that you could do is sit on your hands until you get a pullback. In fact, if you take a look at the chart here, really all of the pullbacks have been bought. So just be careful. Oh, take a look at this. Ticker WETH. This is We Touch Technology. This was recently a research stock on our happy hour that was given out to the group. Is stock up almost 10% here. Another low-priced one. Looking pretty good.
It was higher in pre-market too.
Yeah, sure was.
It was liking the way that looked. SRRK. This one might be starting to put in a bit of a bull flag or bull pennant. You got to give this a little bit more time to work itself out, but it looks like it's trying to push up higher into 30.
Sure does. Sure look like a 30 test is on deck here.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get that formation here. It's going to probably take another 5-15 minutes, something like that.
There is no try out here sniping stuff. Boom. AI Rod.
Well, LASC. Sorry.
No, all good. SRRK is a dad on a mission, lost his sons to the illness he's trying to cure. Wow, did not know that, AI Rod. That is intense. That is intense. But you know what that tells me? That tells me that they're committed.
Yeah.
Tells me that they're committed.
Yeah, I want to know more about that. I mean, if I was going to, get into that just one biotech and with that kind of information, I'd like to know who that person is. That's kind of fueling that fire. That's interesting. Thank you for that. Looks like also LASE that had it unhalted. It ran up to another level that we were looking at, 555, got as high as 570, and then came right back in. Once this unhalts, we'll be looking for support. 485 would be my first level for support. That's not too far away from where it closed.
One more thing, another shout out to our happy hour group. This one was a miss for me, unfortunately, because I just never got filled. I tried to buy it, but Elf Beauty. So here was the trade plan. It's actually still annotated on the chart. Sure looked like when it was flagging in here, it sure looked like it was going to start to go lower. 100. I think we talked about it on the show here, 13. I think you had a 95. Did I get that right?
I think I said something around like 80, somewhere between 80 and like 85 and 95. I think is what I mentioned for this one.
That area in there. Now it does look like this move has started here. Watch for that 100 test on Elf. Shout out to our happy hour group again, giving us some more plays. I never got filled on that. No position here for me on this one, unfortunately. CHSN is halted here. That's halted.
Done, Jay Summers.
Ooh, it looked like this popped off the bottom. Okay, I'm still not interested in that one, but it's all right.
here
What
we
did
go
Jay
with
Summers
Serve.
do? Another in and out. Boom.
Yep. And then we have Serve. That's testing the intraday highs here, 980. Looking for a break.
There it is. Oh, great spot there. You still have SRRK flagging at that 29. That was another good call by 13. Stop me if you've heard that before.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, check this out. Check this out. Nike with a little bit of a break to the new lows here. All right, let's snap 80 next here on Nike. That short working, boss.
Yes, Grouch. SRRK had phase 3 clinical trial data.
Correct. And high short interest. And high short interest. So here, I'll read it to you real quick. Scholar Rock holding shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line results from its phase 3 Sapphire clinical trial evaluating the efficacy and safety of one of its drugs in patients with SMA. The study achieved its primary endpoint, but this was the other thing that we layered on top of it. 45% of the float shorted with 26 days to cover. Definitely a squeeze candidate here.
Smoke Tuna mentioning Hollow. Hey, it's a nice move.
Here's
there.
Lynn and Randy. Sound the alarm.
I know we have our fun with this. Just be careful with this one. I don't want to touch this one until maybe February or something like that.
I love how you're like, yeah, 6 months from now it'll be ready to go.
Well, just since the last time that we were trading the repeating momentum pattern, I was like, okay, well, maybe August is going to do it, and we saw movement in August. Maybe he'll do it in February. So that's what I'm going to wait for, is the next month it's supposed to happen.
MSTR ripping.
Yeah,
Micro strategy. Oh, yes, it is. Bitcoin also ripping here. Good call.
Yep. Bitcoin doing well. So naturally, BITO and the other Bitcoin ETFs all lifting.
Let's see what coin is looking like. Okay. So here's an interesting thing here on coin. This is one of the things I was actually looking at recently. Let me set this up here. Wasn't last week, but the week before. I was looking for coin. What?
Sorry. There's 10 and SERP. Sorry about the interruption.
All good. What I was looking for here on coin was a capture of the 50-day and then a move to the 200-day. That was right back here. It actually got rejected, so there was no trigger on the long trade here. Now it's come back into a support, which is really good to see. We'll see now if it can recapture it. We actually have some more area or more points up to that 200 days. So that trade's still on. If we can recapture that 50, we'll see if we get it. Coinbase up here, just about 1% on the Bitcoin move.
Was that a daily chart you had on there?
It was.
That looks interesting. That really looks like it could end up going back to the 200-day SMA.
That's the plan.
Yeah. That's definitely the next step I'll be watching for. Yeah, recapture of the 50-day. Great. I want to see the test of the 200.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. By the way, SRRK now kind of rolling over. It looks like it's trying to come back to the VWAP. I've got VWAP at 26.43. Stocks at $28. So we'll see if we do get back there. The selling in Nike is starting to accelerate, folks. This is what we were hoping for last week. We are starting to get it. Let's go. Let's snap and go below here on Nike again. 75 would be ideal here. I'll cover that short up.
I think you might get some support at 81. If you go to a daily chart and you draw a trend line from August 5th up through the bottom of September 11th and keep that trend line going, we're almost there. So that's where I think
here it is.
Potentially get some support.
Yeah, and you know what? It won't be a straight move down to that 75 area either, so no problem here. As long as this doesn't bounce and then flush me out of the trade, that'd be fine.
SRRK support at VWAP, trying to get back up to 20. Well, it's in 29 handle now.
Oh, look at that.
30.
Yep. David Lynn, appreciate this. I don't have squawk on. Charlie squawking TIGR.
I agree with that, Smoke Tuna. I think they'll be fine too.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're going out of business. They have some problems right now. I'm just playing this. Basically, the chart is telling me to play this to 75. We'll see if I even get 75. I mean, no victory laps yet, but it's working out. Anthony, nice job.
Yep.
Nice job playing that pullback. You know what I like? I think what you did here is you bought this on a pullback and then sold it into the up move. So if I'm wrong about that, I reserve, I take this back. But what I really, really like that you did here is while watching that trade up, you waited for it. You waited for a better entry. That helped you sell into that spike. You can just repeat that process now.
Smita, if you're looking at the daily chart, yeah, that does look like it's gotten a bit parabolic. A little concerned with the way the candle of today is looking, but we have plenty of time left in the day for it to look differently. So we'll see what happens. That's definitely extended though, that's for sure.
I missed what ticker you were talking about. We'll go to it, but really quickly, have spiking here on volume. Good call, Wes. Which one?
TIGR.
Oh, Tiger. Excuse me. Actually, nice little recapture of the VWAP there on Tiger. This might try and go higher.
Yeah, I was referring to the daily chart of this thing. It's got a 94 RSI. So it wouldn't be surprising if this ended up coming back in over the next several days. Very, very extended. And what is okay? So serve coming back in after heading 10-13. I think for me, if I was going to, try to look for support and serve, I'd be wanting to see the VWAP hold the price up and then turn around. Don't know if we're going to get that yet. We might end up losing VWAP if it tests that there and goes a bit sideways.
Cool. Grouch, I have no other short on right now. I generally don't short a lot of stock. It's kind of a rarity for me, but given the environment that we're in, when the setup's there, I have to adjust my process. I'll keep you posted on it if I take any more of those.
It's a high confidence short.
That one is, yeah, that one I felt pretty good about. We actually discussed that a lot. DJT here had a really nice pop out of the open, move back to VWAP. Now another leg higher here. Glenn's all over it. Fight. DJT trading higher here. Let's see if we can give you a level here from the daily. Remember, careful with this one. Decent trading vehicle, but that's probably it. We are at some resistance here. I think if we snap this, you're pretty much clear up to 20 to 21.
Yeah, looking back in September, there was this a couple of days back then where it was trying to get above 20 and it just couldn't do that, couldn't close above it. Every time it got up there, it would just turn around and come right back in. 20 definitely looks like that's a big level to get over.
Wow. SRRK going for 30 right now. That little pullback there, that was masterful. Should have taken that one with you for the second trade of the day, but beggars can't be choosers.
We're not going to run every race, but we're going to win the ones that we run. How about that?
That's right. I like it. Ambo looks like this is going to go for the break right here.
Ambo?
AMBO.
Awesome. Put an R in there, and it's Rambo.
I was going to say.
Here we go.
Rambo. Not quite, though.
176 pre-market high. That's the level to get through. It looks like it just a little bit more volume. We're going to do that. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come on. Push it. There we go. 177. Looks like it's going to get pushed up to at least 190. See what happens here. Oh, and we got a seller came in at 180. That might cause some problems. They drew first blood. Awesome. Bring out all your Rambo quotes for this stock.
Love it. Love it. Love it almost as much as I love hoodie weather, which is going on outside right now.
Okay. Nick, Switch fan. I got you. Sorry.
All good. Quick check-in on the SPY here. So after being lower here in the pre-market, we pretty much traded up off those lows. We really weren't able to push higher. It's starting to trade down, but it's not cracking. So we'll see here on SPY. Really, it's going to need to get over this high here. I've got this at what? 571.66 if this is going to go higher here. VIX is up, what? 9.5% here. I don't know. We'll see. I still like SPY for lower from where we're at right now. We'll see if that changes.
Yeah, SRRK still having that that dude at 30, creating problems for everybody. How about you guys take him out? Why don't you do that? Check out that dude at 30.
Serve right at 10 here. I'll go to SRRK because it looks like that's setting up for a 30 crack.
It also looks like DJT really does want to test 20. Don't know that it's going to capture and hold above it, but if it moves from here to 20, I'd bring a register on that one. LX not having a good day.
GDev. Oh, that's just a low volume. Nothing. How's this Chizen doing? Looks like that's rolling over lower here. CRNC, was someone on this one earlier? Wow, nice little staircase. Really good expanding volume here. Comp shorting NVIDIA here. NVIDIA short trim. So did we get a move down? This was up. Oh, nice intraday trade there. Did get a move up here on NVIDIA. That's almost retraced all of that. Good short there, Comp. We'll give you registering.
LASE. We had this, we were halting to the upside after, as soon as we opened, and now we've come back in. I think we found some support and are trying to turn around here. LASE, it's got an interesting formation. Watch for this one to try to recapture 5.
Okay, good stuff there. Jay, I love this right here. Boeing, ticker BA, stopped going down on bad news. Now, Jay, I don't want to assume that you're making a call here, but generally speaking, the relationship here is when stocks stop going down on bad news, there's a bottom in, and when they stop going up on positive news, there's generally a top in. So it sounds like that could be what would be setting up for Boeing here. For a potential trade, if this is in fact the bottom, I'd like to see a regression back to the mean, maybe a move back towards that 85. With the price currently being at 157, I feel like this is actually not a bad idea. Take a stab here on the options market. Let's see what we got.
It's actually coming off the bottom of the broadening wedge that I've had on there for a while.
There you go. The 180 call is $2.80 here. The 185 calls $2.10 ask. So neither of these are terribly expensive. So if you believe that bottom is in here, maybe a setup there, ticker BA.
Yeah, it's actually today is recapturing the 20-day SMA. The 50-day is up at 165 and 15 cents. So there's at least that chunk of change you could probably try to capture in just the distance between here and that moving average. Okay,
good stuff. It is 10 o'clock on a Monday, on a Victory Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for our special guest, the one and only Matt Maley. Let's bring Matt, happy Monday. I got to say, I love when you join us on these Victory Mondays because I am in about the best possible mood. How was your weekend? How you doing?
Well, it was great. I mean, I love the fall. It's great to do anything, play golf, go for walks, apple pick, tailgate. And those Bears are doing pretty good, and I know that's your team, so it's nice. It's nice to see.
Yes, sir, it is. After a lot of pain, it's nice to see some gain. I did golf on Saturday. It was like 80 degrees in October in Chicago on Saturday. I could not believe it. Had a great, did everything but apple picking that you mentioned on that list there. So clearly I'm doing fall right. Matt, thanks again for joining us here. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about right off the top here is where we're at with the SPY. We had talked a lot about the market really kind of getting towards this high, not really being able to push above that. We've actually seen that for several weeks now. One of the things that I've added to my chart here is basically just a trend line that goes all the way back to the low from October of 2023. We just broke beneath that, and to my eye, it sure looks like the SPY wants to roll over and maybe test the 50-day moving average. I got to ask you, what do you see here for the market this week, in particular for the SPY?
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about is very true. I mean, you could be a raging bull right now and still think that the market has got to pull back a little bit. It's had this unbelievable run, and there's absolutely no question that it's flattened out. I mean, despite the way it feels, because we have made several new highs, but they've been always been certain days where the market's made new high, but it's always very marginal highs. everybody's like, oh, market's making new highs, making new highs. It's like, but it's actually flattened out. And one of the things that we're talking about a lot recently is that the market, well, it's really starting to broaden out, so things look great. And I'm like, actually, it's not really broadening out. That broadening out is starting to fade with the Russell 2000 has actually gone down each of the last 2 weeks. Now, again, the declines have been very, very small. So I'm not saying, oh my gosh, it's ready to fall out of bed, but they have gone down. The small cap index has gone down each of the last 2 weeks. So, again, I agree that this thing's starting to roll over a little bit. August tends to be October tends to be a tough month during election years. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, the seasonality thing hasn't worked out too well this fall yet. But of course, the big thing for me is what's going on with the in the Middle East. It's hanging out there. I mean, and so I just think, are people really going to step up to the plate and push things a lot higher? Anything's possible, I suppose, if things really calm down there. But without that, I think it's going to be very, very tough for the market to push a lot higher right here.
Yeah, and to your point about the conflict in the Middle East, we're seeing the VIX up 9.5% here this morning. So VIX clearly pricing that in. So I'd ask you, just kind of on that note there, is there anything that you're kind of looking for a trade here? Are you looking to maybe take some volatility trades or for some inverse market trades? How are you actually playing that?
Well, right now, it was a couple ways you can play it. Number one, like last week where we made in the chat room, we made 250% buying this Occidental Petroleum calls. We still own those, the ones that expired on last Friday, but we still own some ones that expire next Friday, and they're up nicely. I'm sorry, this coming Friday. So they're doing well. So the energy area, of course, is one to look at. But other areas, we also own the SQQQ calls. I mean, remember, you're buying calls on an inverse ETF, so it's actually a bearish bet. And again, with this situation going on in the Middle East, that's a big concern. But the last one to mention, and I want to be a little careful because resistance levels are resistance levels for a reason. They're tough to break. But look at silver. We're bumping up against those spring highs. Gold is 10% above its spring highs, its May highs. It broke above those highs and just shot up another 10%. After being up over 25% or something before that. So it's had this huge run, but silver has been lagging. Silver is now bumping up against those May highs. If it can break above those highs, it should have some room to run and play catch up with gold. Now, of course, whenever there's a divergence between any two things, and gold and silver tend to trade in tandem, and when a divergence develops, well, two things can happen. Either silver is going to play catch up or gold's going to come back down. I think the odds are high that silver is going to play catch up, but we do need to wait to make sure it actually breaks above that level. Too many people get excited when it's just about to happen, but the potential is definitely there. So I'm looking at the SLV, looking at maybe playing the SLV calls if we do indeed see that breakup. But again, I always like to see that those resistance levels are actually broken before you play it in any kind of a meaningful way.
Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. Front running the move has never really worked for me. Wait until you actually get that confirmed. Really good stuff there. 13, did you have anything from that?
Well, yeah, I was listening to you about the energy trades, and we have been hearing about potential strike on Iran's oil infrastructure, and we kind of already have an understanding that energy is going to end up exploding off of if that ends up happening. I was just kind of curious what you thought on the China side of that trade, since 90% of Iran's exports are going to China. And that could end up causing some disruption, a lot of disruption in their economy. Just wanted to know your thoughts on that. If you think this is going to be, causing the yang to finally spike and the whole China stimulus to evaporate if that happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But the issue for me is that the thought that I just think the thought that Israel is going to strike are very high, and I mean the odds are very, very, very high. Especially this nuclear capability, they don't want Iran to become a nuclear power, and I think they're going to take this opportunity now that they've that Hamas and Hezbollah are on their heels, and to take the opportunity to do it. Now, does it have maybe it's put off until after the election, to the U.S. election, but I think they'll act sooner rather than later. And if they do, that's going to create a problem. The one thing though I keep hearing is that people say, "Don't worry," because Iran only puts out about 1.8 or 1.5 to 1.8 million barrels a day, and the Saudis can make that up. It's like that is true. But what we're not worried about 1.8 million barrels a day. We're worried about 13 to 14 million barrels a day, because if the Strait of Hormuz shuts down, all that other oil from all those other OPEC nations doesn't get through, and that's going to be a big problem. So if that happens, then we got a bigger problem. That like I said, it's going to affect everybody. It's funny because it does throw a big wrench in the works for China, but also think about the other markets that are more. I mean, China is bouncing off a very oversold level. The U.S. and other markets are overbought and expensive. So a lot. If we get oil, up and staying up, if it jumps above 100 and stays there, then we start rethinking about inflation coming back, stagflation, etc. That is just not a good. And the fact that the market is so complacent about this possibility, and maybe it doesn't happen, but that they're basically all but ignoring it, makes it I just think that you need some hedges on there. Silver might be a good one. Gold has definitely been a good one, and I think will continue to be. So you need to be careful of this, I guess is my point.
I appreciate that.
And then Matt, just kind of on the lines of the oil that you just spoke there, Alex from our chat here, will Hurricane Milton affect oil? So we did a really good job kind of covering the Middle East there, but what do you think about this upcoming hurricane? And in addition to the oil question here, is there anything else that you might be looking at given that?
Well, the thing about this hurricane is coming from the Gulf and going through Florida. So it's not coming up into the Gulf. It's kind of going sideways through the Gulf and hitting Florida, which believe me, people live in Florida. That's not great. But the oil sector is more in the up in New Orleans. I'm sorry, in the Louisiana, that kind of area. It means you move Louisiana, Texas. That would have the much bigger impact. So this shouldn't impact the price of oil to a big degree. What will it do for some of the insurance names? Because you're getting hit by a second hurricane over in such a short period of time. Florida would get hurt. I mean, that would be different than maybe North, but it doesn't matter. The insurance companies are involved in all these different areas. So you got to be careful about some of the property and casualty names and what happens there. But overall, the one thing though that I do think is interesting is that as much as it does damage, and boy, on a human side of things, it's not good. But on the bullish side, you think it's funny because I look at Home Depot stocks like that are getting overbought. I'm a little nervous about them, but you need to rebuild these areas. Home Depot tends to do well, so it's funny. I'm nervous about Home Depot, but I'm now getting a little bit careful about being too bearish on it, because when people rebuild, they go to these contractors go to Home Depot and buy all this stuff. These types of things, as tragic as they are, tend to be positive for the Lowe's and Home Depots of the world.
Yeah, bingo. And in fact, that Lowe's and Home Depot chart look very, very similar. In fact, when we started talking about the last hurricane that just hit, one of the things that we did is we drew some Fibonacci retracements here for potential ad levels in case it moves back there. Really good stuff. Matt, thanks again. If you want to trade with Matt, be sure to check out the link I threw in the chat. Call Rodrigo. Check out Matt's stuff. Matt, thanks again for being generous with your time here. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week, all right?
You too, guys. Thanks a lot.
Take care. That is Matt Maley. He is absolutely on fire. We're grateful he gives us his time every Monday. All right, folks. Let's get back to the action here. What did I miss? Looks like SRRK continued to move above 30.
LASC had some good movement. It traded lower while Matt was talking, but then it ended up turning around and going higher. I think we haven't quite hit 5 yet, but kind of sideways at the moment. Still potentially could touch 5. I don't know. We'll get a close above it though.
All right.
Also getting mentioned from Smoke Tuna, QSG.
QSG. By the way, Boeing, mentioned from Jay Rice, Boeing at the highs here right now. New highs just a second ago. Here is QSG ramping on volume. Stop me if you've heard this before, but it would appear Smoke Tuna has hooked another.
This one looks like it's going to, if it goes through 6, I'd say, I'd say maybe 7 could happen. If it doesn't get to 7, it could slow down or stop around 670, 75. All right.
Sorry about that. My nose, man. It's changing. It's letting me know that fall is officially here, and I am not upset about it. Hoodie weather is the best weather. QSG continuing to push here. Oh my, biggest volume stick of the day. Smoke Tuna, I'm not sure what your trade plan is here. I would for sure be selling into this momentum move to the upside. SRK still kind of flagging here at about 30 bucks, just north of 30 bucks there. Serve, for all of you that were trading this was a really good mention earlier. Tell you what, Serve's pulling back here. Every time it pulls back to this 15 EMA, it's bounced so far. We'll see if we get it again here. Well, I just started talking about it, 13. Do you like that?
Well, I was just going to say, depending on how this particular 5-minute candle closes, if it's red, that'll be the first one of the day in the regular session.
Here we go. Let's watch that volume stick as well, 13. Oh, that just, and would you look at that? I talked about it and they went green, boss.
Still got a minute and a half.
Okay. I'll just stop talking. We'll see what happens.
You're moving it more.
It's crazy. Sometimes you just feel like that. It's like, it's definitely not true, but.
Looks like it's about to go. There it is.
Netflix, by the way, that opening power candle to the downside, up off the lows here on Netflix, actually up 10 points, almost 9.5 points off the lows. Goldman Sachs going higher here, that looking like that's going to try and test 500 pretty soon. Goldman Sachs recently pulled off that 500. Here's a look at the daily chart. This Goldman Sachs chart, I tell you what, this can hold this. Maybe this does go higher here. No position on Goldman Sachs at the moment right now.
Only Meta and Nvidia are green right now, and Meta just barely green. Like it looks like it could end up going red here pretty soon.
Meta had a strong move right out of the open. That did give it back.
They wanted 6. Wanted that 600 print, got it, and then said thank you, goodbye.
Bitcoin at the highs here, 64,200 on the futures chart. Bitcoin.
That's right, Jay. Absolutely. Earnings season starts this week.
Oh, you know what? Shame on me. I didn't even have an earnings chart. That is this week. The bank start. Is it Friday? Is it JPM on Friday here? I guess I can go check.
I believe it. I believe it is. Also, we get CPI this week too.
Okay.
That's on Thursday.
All right, let's see what we got here for earnings. Oops, I did that wrong again. There we go. All right.
So remember we were talking about that red candle in Serve? Well, yeah, you're right. It ended up going green, very green, and put a new interest day highs. So 1061 now the intraday high. Next candle.
Okay, so real quickly here, Pepsi is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is Pepsi, but then JPM, Wells Fargo, those are on Friday. Looks like BSVN here. That's Bank 7, Bank of New York Mellon. All of those going to be Friday morning. Also worth noting, we've got Delta reporting Thursday in the morning and Domino's Pizza reporting Thursday in the morning. So we do have some earnings, but you're exactly right. They're all backloaded in the week here.
Yeah, and then on Monday next week, we'll have, I believe, more bank earnings, the other big names.
Okay.
I think that's when they report.
SRRK, by the way, trying to break out of that flag. Let's see if we go higher here. 31. It's trying to, what was the high of this candle? Let me get that actual number here for you. High here, 31.37 looks to be the breakout spot. There we go. It just printed above it. Let's see if we go. Oop. Got a little jiggy there. Let's see if we end up breaking above that here. Trading above it again.
Remember, folks, this is after hours. The after hours high on Friday for SRRK was $35. Entirely possible to get back up there today.
Sid giving us some info here. World Muscle Society's conference is tomorrow. This is going to affect CAPR. That was a wild stock last week, Sydney. Sorry, I haven't brought it up here at all today. Let's check in and see where it's at. Okay, so this has done a good job. This is kind of holding one of the pullback levels from Friday intraday here. You can take a look at the 15-minute chart. You can see exactly how big of a move this was. This thing went from 5 to 20.
The daily chart is still very extended on this one.
Yeah.
Not to say that it couldn't, move on that catalyst, but very, very extended up here.
And remember, when it comes to any of those chart formations, news always is going to trump a chart. So to your point there, you're right about this being extended. If they get further good news, it could be more extended with the catalyst right there.
So is there something going on with, I mean, it seems like SRRK and CAPR, they're similar, right? If they both, if the World Muscle Society Conference is going to move both of them, what's the reason for shorting the heck out of these? They're both very shorted very similarly. High short interest, like in the 10s or 20s days to cover. It's interesting that they're both like that.
SRRK, it does not seem to be involved with that muscular conference. This treats rare diseases like cancer.
Okay.
They are moving because of the clinical data.
Okay. I just thought they were together because he mentioned that SRRK in that sentence there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. I see. Yeah, Sydney, I think, let me know if there's another connection here that I'm just being daft and missing, but I'm pretty sure that you were just mentioning this because these stocks have been rocketing.
Yeah. And look at Caper with that 25% of the float shorted and 45.
Yeah, also similar. Cover. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So just huge amounts. Just was wondering if there's like, a reason that those two particular stocks have such high short interest. Where do you keep going, Ryan? That must be coughing. We decided we're not going to be doing that on the stream anymore, right? Anybody pick up any of the options on Friday that Anne-Marie spoke about? I didn't. Want to see if Ryan maybe did.
What's that?
Gets back. Did you pick up any of the options plays that Anne-Marie gave us on Friday?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Oh no, I wasn't able to watch the show.
Oh, gotcha. No, I wasn't coughing. I would have muted. You would have seen me coughing, but I would have been muted. I think I know what my next task is here. As soon as we get off the show, I am going to absolutely face a glass of emergency in water, just in case I'm developing a cold. I want to fight that off here, but I think I'm just having an allergic reaction to this changing seasons.
Uh-oh. Something's going on with Tiger. It's really starting to move down now.
TIGR?
Mm-hmm. That looks like that one's going down. DJT, Truth Social, that one looks like it's getting ready to push higher.
That has been strong. I will say Tiger looks weak now. DJT has been strong all morning here. We've had Glenn Glenn, I think I probably missed your call earlier because we were talking to Matt at the time. I'm going to see if I can find it and shout you out. Yep. Matt excuse me, for heaven's sake, Ryan. Glenn called this exact level ahead of time. It did, in fact, hit 1874 and actually went higher. Glenn, ring it, baby.
Yeah, and DJT, I think we talked about that potentially getting to 20 earlier, but and it may end up getting rejected. I'm still looking for that. I think it could tap 20, but then come back in.
Replay Game Lab. Anyone mention AIoT? You know what? I do think that there was someone in the chat mentioning this earlier, but I can't place it. AIoT, this is Powerfleet. This popped out of the open, had a nice little move back to the VWAP and then move higher. That is textbook awesome there. Volume isn't great. Did we have a catalyst on this one? Host Investor Day on November 20th. So there you go. We PR'd about an Investor Day coming out. I'm not sure why that's driving the stock higher here. Does have a $10 price target from Barrington that came from last week on Thursday. They secured a loan, so they're probably good on cash here. Short interest on this one. Yeah, middle of the road here. 6.5% of the float shorted. Does say 9 days to cover, but it's low volume here. Let's see. What do we look? Oh, ooh. Okay, so daily chart actually teasing a potential breakout spot here. Again, higher lows on this recent move. We'll see if this can break out from 570. Let's call it 575. That would put the next area that would go into probably around 7. AIoT, great company. So you guys know a lot about this. Really good analyst rating for such a small stock. cap here is just 660 million. It's got coverage. That's good to see. We got to be cash flow positive on this, don't we?
It's got like a month, or I'm sorry, a quarter.
Yeah, and it was just that recent quarter. Yeah, no, this has got a couple of quarters of cash here. But remember, they also had that news about that loan in there. And then
550. That's the spot for me in this one. That's the breakout spot. Every time it gets up to 550, that's where it gets rejected.
Oh, we're getting told that this is a Shaka special. Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds sweet. Powerfleet is poised for significant growth following its acquisition of Fleet Complete, that's a clever name, which enhances the company's recurring revenue streams and boosts adjusted EBITDA due to increased scale and market presence in North America and Europe. Bull case seems pretty good there. Projected to elevate Powerfleet's revenue from 303 million to 353 million and increase adjusted EBITDA from 61 million to 71.6 million for fiscal year 2025. Okay. Interesting there. The Shaka special. We'll monitor this one, see how it goes.
There's about to be a weekly on the weekly chart a golden cross in this one, and it's trying to get above the 500 week SMA. It's actually working right now.
Okay.
Interesting on this one. There's a lot of things that are indicating that this is going to go higher on the technical side.
Okay. Cool stuff. I love our chat bringing us stuff here. Remember, and as Shaka's reminding us, AAOI, which was a pretty good mover from last week. Let's check in on what that's doing here today. A little bit of a pullback, but holding a lot of its gains from last week. Right. Apple might be trying to go higher here, go down about 0.5%.
Yeah, it looks like Meta turned red.
Meta did turn red, huh?
Yeah. A lot of these Max 7 names, they're just right on the border of flat. It looks like Nvidia, Tesla, and Amazon are much further away from their open.
Jay mentioning SMCI, seeing a lot of call buying here on SMCI. The price action here indicating that call buying is driving this stock higher here. I actually did see a couple on this list. I didn't notice them when they came across, but now that Jay's mentioning it, I did see several here in SMCI. That actually looking pretty strong here today, given some of the other tech names are lower. Bitcoin at 64,600. That's actually off the high. That's having a real strong morning.
Did SMCI put out their earnings report?
I don't believe so.
I don't want to touch it. I see. It's funny to me that that's even happening, and post split as well.
Yeah.
So now the float's even heavier, and I mean, I guess because it had that bad news that it's coming off the bottom, people are buying at a discount. But the fact they haven't put that report out is super concerning. I don't think I'd want to touch this. That's just me, though. When's their next one come out? They're going to have two. I think we asked this before. If they're going to have two earnings out with, or two supposed dates where they're supposed to have earnings out and no earnings report. So last one was supposed to be back in August. Jeez. Next one's going to be October 30th. We shall see. Shaka mentioning Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger, this, I don't know, Shaka, I'm not sure this one's table pound worthy, at least not yet. This has moved lower from the pre-market. It did come back up here to VWAP. Let's turn this off, make this a little bit easier to see. It did come back up here to VWAP, but it has found some resistance there so far. Anthony is saying that SRRK is about to knife. Looks like it is starting to roll back over here. Let's see what happened when that interacts with the VWAP at 28. I have no position in SRRK at the moment. Just 1 for 1 on the day trades today.
For me, VWAP is at 29.06, and yeah, I think it could end up going beneath that. MACD looks like it's implying it should go lower. Just need to lose VWAP. Once we lose VWAP, I'm sure we'll see some more bearishness. Serve A little bit of we finally got a couple of red candles, a little bit of pullback. Now it wants to push up into new intraday highs. Current intraday high for SERB is 1061. We're knocking on that door right now. Sorry, just mentioning SERB, Ryan.
Yep, serve. Let's do it.
It's about to serve some new highs.
Oh, yes, it is. That was really timely, actually.
And there
really
it is.
Timely.
Nice.
Well, you folks are on it here today. Nike new lows.
They're on it every day. Every day they're producing.
DJT more highs. 20 looks like it is inbound there. This was another one that we have traded a lot. This is EHang. This was on that EV toll, right?
You know, that one didn't move as well the day that Joby had that 500 million news. So this is a little bit of a late runner, it seems. And here we go with DJT. It's breaking out of that bull pennant, trying to push up to 20. I think we do get 20, and I think it comes back in afterwards. Don't know what the high is going to be. It might go past 20 and push up a little bit more, but I think once we've gotten there, that'd be where I would be selling, is in the 20s handle.
Though, you know what's crazy about this? It's the volume this morning is just so much more intense than some of these other mornings. I guess the only thing I could really compare it to here is the SEP 24. It did finish higher here, but it wasn't this much of a move. In any case, for trading purposes, volume looking pretty good here, ticker DJT. How about, what's this FRFM, Surf Air Mobility?
Ever since DJT touched the 500-day SMA, it's been trying to recapture the 20, and it's in the process of recapturing the 20-day SMA. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. That's super micro.
Uh-oh.
I had DJT up here, but it was showing me super micro's chart. Let's start over. Okay, so for DJT, it's coming off of a bottom. As soon as it got under 12, it came right back up, recaptured the 20. Now we're going for the 50-day SMA, which is at 20 and 28 cents. That's probably where it may end up getting rejected if it pushes up over 20.
Yeah, this is pretty clear as day. And in fact, Glenn, the Elon effect. Interesting. Now, I'm not sure how that all translates, but Trump did go back to Butler, the site of the first assassination attempt this weekend with Elon. And I mean, the crowds for that were insane. Actually, Elon streamed that on X, had 11 million viewers, 0 hiccups, which was perhaps more impressive. Looking at if this is the Elon effect, that's an interesting thesis. I'm not sure, one way or another. But if that is the effect here, you actually have some pretty good price targets with these moving averages above this. Like if we take out this 50-day here, I think 13, you tell me what you think here. I think if we take out the 50-day here, the 500 is probably next. This also lines up with another area. And then I think maybe this $28 level, which was former support, that's right under the 100-day. You do have some pretty good targets here if this continues. And then Alex wanted to take a look at Garmin. This got downgraded this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Garmin here. The one thing that I'd be looking at for a trade here, what happens with Garmin when it comes into this 200-day? Current price, 162.75. 200 days, let's call it 154. It's at 153 and change, but let's call it 154. This stock hasn't been down at the 200-day since October of 2023. And the interesting part about that is it actually broke beneath the 200-day, reclaimed, and I bet this was earnings. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, are all those gap ups earnings?
Yep. So that November 1st, 2023 print that we just took a look at, that was indeed the earnings print here. So this is, and now the rest of these, I'll tell you what, can you read me the dates and I'll take a look at the calendar and I'll tell you?
Okay, so that would be either the 20th or 21st of February.
Yep, that's an earnings date.
The 30th or 1st of May.
Yep, that's an earnings date.
And then I would say
July 31st.
Oh, July. Okay, so that actually probably was a miss, and that's where it started to go south. Recaptured those highs, and then the next earnings date should have been in September. I think either the 12th or 13th, right?
Next earnings date that I had here was October 30th. This is the next one coming up.
Okay, gotcha. So then
So the earnings period here is it's beginning of November, end of October, and then it's beginning of May, end of July. Yeah, so that's on pace. So it looks like those are
okay.
All earnings dates, or for the most part. Now, here's the thing though. So I would not, just kind of like thinking about this from a trade. First of all, Garmin's a great company. As far as a trade goes, I would actually wait this out. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know enough about this to really kind of play this short. Got asked about a short positions earlier. I'm not sure I feel confident enough to play this short, but if this does come into this 200-day here, I'd want to see how this interacts. Do we dip below and reclaim? If so, I'm long on that. If it holds here and bounces, I'd probably be long on that too, a little bit shorter duration. But man, this stock, when it likes to take out the 200, it likes to go higher. It really uses that.
Lion Atlas, you're right. That's why it's only a day trade for me, and I think it should be for a lot of other people.
Yeah,
too.
We've been clear about that for months.
But as far as Garmin goes, yeah, I like that 200-day SMA, but I think you're probably going to get better support down around 150. I think you could get down, if you look at that April to May gap, we could end up filling that and then finding support just above 150.
Okay.
So because if you look at the price action from March and April, that was a triple top there. I would think that would provide some pretty robust support. So if the 200 doesn't do it, 150 should.
Yeah, right in here. Gotcha. Good stuff, Alex. We don't look at Garmin very often. And I know that this, you know what? Shoot, I meant to really quickly confirm something there.
Yeah, because Garmin used to make a whole bunch of products we ended up with our phone.
Dennis did an amazing job on this morning. I actually didn't even realize this until Dennis explained it, but I'm going to try and repeat it. So it says Garmin gets a hold from JP Morgan. Mm-hmm. But the way that Dennis explained this is that they actually changed analysts. So it was a buy. They changed to a new analyst, and that analyst gave it a hold. So it's actually a downgrade without saying, hey, we downgraded the stock.
Sounds like they downgraded their analyst.
13's always goddamn jokes, baby. Mike, good morning. Great to see you here this morning.
Looks like that one you mentioned earlier, WeTouch, WETH. That one went sideways after dropping this morning and has now recaptured VWAP. Let's see what happens next.
Okay, that one, full disclosure, I do have a very little bit of this. This is, I would consider this maybe similar to the EAF trade. It's just, it's kind of one of these smaller companies that looks like it might have an opportunity to grow. I'm in it long term, or longer term than a day trade or two-day trade here. And while we're talking about that here real quickly, my average on WETH 191. So I'm actually up on this. I generally try and not talk about stocks I'm up on unless there's like an actionable thesis still in there. We'll see where this goes. But this is having a pretty nice day. Not a day trade for me. Not a day trade for me. Nicholas saying, fun fact, Garmin is one of the biggest players in racing.
What kind of racing?
Ultra marathons. You mean like human running, endurance racing, right? That I did not know that. They do make a lot of wearable stuff, though, don't they? Yeah. And I believe those are fairly well compatible with Apple and Android. I don't have any personal experience, but okay, great.
I do. Yeah, my wife loves her wearables.
Got it.
Yeah, they do that. It's it's for me. It's funny because I remember Garmin as being like a GPS company. Remember?
Yeah, I think when GPS first started coming to cars 13, I think my family did a TomTom and a Garmin.
I remember TomTom.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Are they still around? I wonder. They probably got rolled up by somebody, didn't they?
Well, I don't think they're around because we have smartphones that do it with apps to do all that stuff now. Yeah, it'd have to be devices, and Garmin, made the shift, so that's why they're still around. Yes, flight navigation too. That's a good point. There was no try. Looks like DJT getting weak here. Got as high as 1968. Could not touch 20. Starting to go lower here, but I don't think it's quite done yet. Just give it a little bit more time. Not guaranteeing that it's going to touch 20 at this point, but it's still a possibility.
SRRK kind of holding 30 here. Serve kind of holding 1054 here. QSG getting mentioned in the chat here. That was a tuna call from earlier. Oh my God, this kept going. Look at this tuna.
Look at this tuna.
It's not what I meant to say, but the fact that it came out that way, I'll live with it.
Yeah.
I'll live with it.
Whenever a stock runs, look at this tuna.
That's still my favorite though. 13. We can't get rid of that one.
Oh no, we're not going to get rid of it. As a matter of fact, I'll try to see about getting some more on there.
Anyway, QSG. Oh, knifing. Maybe we get a knife back to the VWAP. We'll see here. QSG. I'm gonna roll through some other. I'm gonna roll through some other tickers here real quick. I'm sorry about sniffling. I promise I will overload myself with some vitamin C today.
That's okay. We talk about indicators a lot, and that's just an indicator of the fall.
Okay, we'll take that. RIME, you guys were mentioning this penny stock earlier. Looks like this is kind of slowed down, but holding right above its VWAP there. So that's encouraging to see. I'm going to skip over this LGMK. It's 15 cents. SRRK.
New highs.
Here's serve new highs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the emergency pack has all those in there, Fairchild. I'm pretty sure it's like vitamin C, zinc, all that stuff that's really good for a cold. I don't even know if that's what I have. I think it's allergies, but we're going to play it safe. Emergency actually tastes good. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I feel like that stuff tastes good.
Oh, man. WTH having a nice move here. Broke through the pre-market consolidation. Pre-market high is 224. It's not too far away.
Tell you what, let's pop above this 220 really quickly here. Really quickly here. Conga, well, let me address this really fast first. Conga asking about Walgreens Boots Alliance. So let me pull up a chart here. I feel compelled to mention my bias when we talk about Walgreens Boots Alliance. I'll tell you, this is a company that anyone that is from the Chicagoland area has had an emergency crisis situation solved by Walgreens. This store had everything that you needed. I mean, growing up, whether it was candy or Band-Aids or holiday cards for your family, Walgreens Boots Alliance was the place to go. It is very, very sad to see what's happened here. I'll say this. If you want to trade this because some chart setup or you think that there's a rebound here, I'm going to leave that to you. To me, this is a no touch. I don't know what's going on here. And unless I get some more good news, if you guys have a bull thesis, I'd love to know about that. But I got to be honest, even despite using this store and having this be a huge part of my family and my childhood, I'm going to say it's a no touchdown here.
I'd be curious to know what I mean. Here, so they pay a dividend. It's pretty good yield at this point with how much the stock's fallen. That would be something I'd be concerned about getting cut. Now, if that doesn't, then there's some, there's some potential upside here, especially with how much this has been sold. I don't know enough to know what's causing all this selling, but we're at all-time lows here, and it looks like on a daily chart that this might be trying to find a bottom. No confirmation yet, but this looks like it's trying to. I just don't know how much longer it needs, and I'm not sure if this is going to continue to go down. I don't know enough, but it seems as though right now it's trying to put in a bottom. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. If it can get back above that 50-day SMA, if it can recapture 10, I think we should take a closer look at it. Jay Wild mentioning that LASE is pushing 5. Let's take a look at LASE. It's wow, nice stuff. Nice recapture of 5 there. So there was that. Now, if we continue to get this movement, if you're considering this chart pattern here, 550 is next. I'm just a little concerned about the volume. The volume's not where it needs to be. We need better volume than this. No problem, Conga.
Okay. We wanted to go to, we were talking about WETH, We Touch. So one of the things that Happy Hour group, the guy that was doing research on this, was saying that there's going to be some type of connection to another stock that he was trading. This one was a Chinese name, Nissan. You can see this stock went from $3 to 20. Now, it's not a guarantee that that's what's going to happen here on WeTouch, but I guess some of the same players are going to be involved here. This is part of the bull thesis on this. Again, I don't know if this is how it plays out, but this is what we're kind of looking at. So early in this move, if that is in fact what plays out here.
So we're looking for double digits on the price of WETH then. At
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dang. We are ready. Oh, dang.
QSG halted to the downside. That was the one of Tuna's really good calls earlier. Oh, no. Okay. So this went to the VWAP and then snapped it. Lion here, you're saying I buy 100 shares of WBA. It's cheap. And you think it's going to be 15 around October. If I had that confidence, I'd long it too. I don't have that confidence.
Oh, I think he's mentioning the earnings are around the 15th of October. Let me double check that. Yes, they're confirmed for the 15th of October. That's what he's referring to.
Okay.
And, you know, that's one of the things I mentioned is it's very cheap right now. And it looks like it might be bottoming, but I want to get some confirmation on that first.
Elf fell off the shelf. Tell you what, we got to remind me 13, we must give Kari his flowers because he called this trade setup before a happy hour. He actually threw a chart in the happy hour chat. I put an order out there to get filled. Thing ran away from me and I never got filled. This worked. This is at 100. It looks like this might break lower. Kudos to you for giving some more of those targets here. Please remind me to give Kari his flowers. This was great. Stay focused. I saw that you had said good morning. I think it was mid-rant there. Good morning. We are well. By the way, boss, you check out Nike this morning? That short we opened up in the after hours? Yeah, looking good.
There is no try. With regard to that battery plant, obviously lithium, we know that that's going to be used. Do you know what other metals they're going to use with that? They're going to use a lot of iron, or is it going to be nickel? I know there's different kinds of lithium battery combinations that they can make. I'm just curious, what are they going after there? Is it going to be more nickel or more iron based? If you know. Let's take a look here at some of these other names. DJT, that one's not looking like it's really turning around. Still above VWAP though, so there's possibility it might be able to turn around. Let's see what happens around 850 if it can get some support. But that looks like it's going lower.
I didn't hear the end of what you were just saying here. Toyota's the building. Yep.
I was just asking if he knew what particular type of batteries, if they're going to be iron or nickel based. So.
Really quickly here, the one thing to keep in mind here about Toyota is that they seem to be making some pretty good macro calls recently. Remember, they were the company that said, no, we're not going to focus on EV. We're actually going to focus on hybrid. And that was the right move. So I would consider, giving them some grace and thinking that maybe they're going to be at the forefront here with some of the other decisions that they're making. I don't know if this plays into the trade plan, but just something to keep in mind.
Line, I haven't considered buying any. Let's take a look here. I mean, based on the way this price action looks, to me, it looks like it could go lower, even though it is super oversold right now. Just don't like the way this formation looks. Like it could break beneath 214.
Carmen, take care of yourself. Thanks for everything. Yeah, and good luck, and we'll see you next time.
But yeah, for me, Humana, no, I'm not in that right now, and I'm not sure I would jump in it at this particular moment.
SMCI popping. Yeah, SMCI is straight up ripping here, folks. Straight up ripping. Opened it at the 41 handle, printing 46 here. Just a really big ramp. The volume is expanding. Volume looks really, really good here. SRRK actually looking like this might break out here. Keep that on watch too. The SMCI, we talked about it a little bit earlier, kind of a no touch if you're worried about some of the fundamentals, but so far today, really, really good move there.
Yeah, we know copper's king, but I was just curious to know if there's going to, what are they going to make them out of? Obviously copper, but some are going the cheaper iron-based route, and some are sticking with nickel. Just kind of curious. I was just curious. Thoughts on SMCI? I gave them earlier. I mean, this company has not put out their earnings reports, and yet this is getting bid up.
Don't we have another one coming up here pretty soon? Let me go back to that.
30th. The 30th is when they're supposed to, yeah. So
a Halloween surprise.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know what? They should dress up. They should dress up as a financial report. That's what we should come up with some type of joke like that. I'll think that one through.
Okay. But yeah, Super Micro. I mean, I thought they had some kind of news this morning, positioning themselves as the leader in a complete rack scale liquid cooling solutions. Currently shipping over 100,000 GPUs per quarter. Well, I mean, that's great, but if that's the case, but we need to see an earnings report that reflects that. That's the big issue for me. They can say, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, but until the numbers come out, I don't care. They need to prove that they've been doing this stuff. They're going to not put out a earnings report and still say that they're doing all these great things. I have concerns.
Accounting irregularities are generally something to stay away from. I support you, 13.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just...
Walter Lyons, this is the comment of the morning. I'm going to go as the yen carry trade for Halloween.
Nice.
You know what? I think that you're kidding, but if you're not, props to you. I want to see this costume. How do you come up with a costume for the yen carry trade? Do you put like a bunch of yen symbols in a basket and carry? I don't know. I'm curious. Let the creative juices flow here. I'd love to see this as a costume. Big Abyss, I support you too, bro. We appreciate that. Another happy hour regular here, always coming in with good information. We appreciate you.
I mean, maybe you're right, Lionel. It might not go any lower. I just don't like the way this looks, and maybe the bottom is going to be in here pretty soon. But for me, I'm going to wait. The longer I look at this chart, the further left I go, the more concerns I have. So I'm just gonna wait and see what it does.
Wow, I actually seeing WETH. I'm actually seeing that mentioned on FinTwit by some other traders. Interesting. Boy, am I glad I was pre-positioned in that instead of chasing it. Ooh.
Yeah. So what does that mean? They're going to push this thing up?
I mean, it could mean both though, because some of the FinTwit people that are on it right now are scalpers and flippers, I guess you could call them. So I don't know that there's anything we can really kind of gain other than there are more eyeballs coming onto this name, which generally is pretty good. By the way, SRRK here, that worked. This is actually breaking higher here.
That's funny. I was just looking at that too. I was like, oh, we're still looking for 35.
We'll see what we get on that one.
Oh, Mike, that's good to hear because I had started buying Yang on Friday and added more today.
We shall see SRRK continuing to push.
And what else? It's like serve after hitting 1075. That is now coming down and it is testing VWAP at the moment. SRRK new high a day. I think that's what we were seeing there just a second ago. Yep. 35 still on deck. WTH moving faster. Yeah, buddy.
Uh-oh. It's climbing that list. Look at that. Wow, that really, look at that. So 13 took out that 220 that you were talking about earlier when we looked at this. Higher it goes. AEHR also getting mentioned here. That's been a pretty good trader in the past. Low volume on AEHR.
Is this the one that tests the chips that are used in automobiles? We talked
Test
about this
systems
before.
engaged in test systems for burning in and testing logic, optical, and memory integrated circuits. So it sounds like some of those optical circuits are probably for the self-driving cars, right?
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm asking. If this is the one that we were looking at previously, like months ago, maybe even over a year ago, when we were talking about the EV trade going south, that this could go with it. Did it end up happening with this one? They have earnings in 3 days. Yeah. Okay. So remember how? Yeah. We talked about this one going south back in last year, and it sure did that.
So sorry that I didn't put the stream back up. My thing crashed there. Real quick. There was Zabev here. Your friends over at Trader TV say SMCI is on a buy program. Well, our friends over at Trader TV are exactly right, because when stocks get buy programs, this is what it looks like. And one of the things that you really need, or I guess you really don't need to. One of the things that kind of tells us that is going to be this volume, which we've talked about ad nauseum here. Volume continues to trade up here, continues to expand. It's no surprise to see SMCI going here. This one wasn't on my watch list, and as we were just talking, some of the accounting problems in here pretty much kept it off that. But absolutely, this is correct. And I'm sure those guys at Trader TV, they trade stuff like this that's moving, whether the fundamentals are garbo or not. I'm willing to bet Sean and Neil are crushing it this morning. I haven't checked in on the stream, but I'm willing to bet they're having a great day over there. SMCI still at the highs here.
And yeah, I see that, Mike. Yang is doing pretty good today. And let's see, this is still an Asian holiday until tomorrow, right? We get the China traders and investors back tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Is that Golden Week that comes to an end? Is that what that is?
I'm not sure of the name of it, but I think that's what we were getting told about last week, is that there would be Asian countries holiday going into this week. And they return on Tuesday. I think that's what we were told.
Real quickly here, stay focused, saying, Ryan, did you see the Uber upgrade in light of the upcoming Tesla event? Is that guy a new analyst as well? So I believe you're referring to the Uber upgrade, $99 price target, maintaining a buy at Truist. And then as far as if he's a new one, let's see what we have. He's actually got a really good smart score and a pretty decent overall success rate. This is Youssef Squali. I hope I pronounced his name right. I apologize if I butchered that. That was not intentional. But anyway, he's got a pretty good smart score, which basically means that his ratings received a higher score than a lot of his peers. Oh, Comp, are you... Comp, it looks like you're shorting SMCI as well as playing the SMCI drinking game at the same time. I hope this doesn't get too hairy for you. I'll be honest. SMCI short initiated. So Comp here, short SMCI right there at the top. Let's see. By the way, Glenn, another crispy call with the price. Another crispy call with the price. This almost hit.
It looks like they actually end up going to the 50-day SMA, which I have at $50.72.
I love it, Comp. I love it. You folks are just out here. It's just like there's no case of the Mondays with this group. It's you guys came ready to go. Guys and gals, excuse me. I just say that colloquially, and I just want to make sure.
So we have new intraday highs, SRRK.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
That kept going, huh?
It's still trying to push. 35 is the after hours high. That's what we're looking for. Looks like SERV coming down. CRV getting some support from BWAP, it looks like. Let's see if that holds.
MYTE, that was one that was on our list here. That was just a complete disaster. SRFM lost its VWAP and knifed. WETH pulled back off the 240 spot. And then, oh, look, SMCX. This is your SMCI levered ETF. Look at this thing. Indo Good morning, Chris. Good to see you. Sorry if I didn't say good morning already. I think I saw you earlier there. Indo, this is another one that we've traded quite a bit. This actually over Friday's intraday high. And let's go. Nike continuing to leak here. Now down 1.5%. Let's flush this 80 here on Nike.
Take your line. Monday? I mean, you mean Tuesday, or unless you're gone for the rest of the week. Either way, have a good one.
Take care of yourself, Lion. Good to have you in here. Oh, you were asking about Humana earlier. Did you mention anything on Humana?
He asked me if I was going to trade it, and to me, it looked like the chart was going to end up going lower.
Yeah. Just really quickly, just to kind of add to that, I don't know if he asked me directly, but here's the thing. I don't know if you folks remember, but when Humana first fell from this $450 level, I did trade it. And one of the things I said is there's a lot of institutional backing here. This is Humana. This is likely going to rebound. And it went lower. And actually, when it went lower, it tried to get back to 400 and now has gone lower, almost cut in half from that 400. To me, I got no position on this. I am in no hurry to add Humana here. All right, folks, just got about 2 minutes left. You folks are just popping off on a Monday. You just absolutely love to see all of the interaction here today. I am going to send you over to Trader Bacon here in 2 minutes, but 13 and I will, of course, be back tomorrow. Also, one more thing, just as kind of a note looking ahead, Anne Marie in Florida is actually not going to be available tomorrow given the hurricane. So 13, I don't know what our schedule is going to be yet. I'm going to talk it over with the team. I'll let you know as soon as I figure out, but I wanted to let the chat know here. No Anne Marie tomorrow. She did confirm that we will be back for Friday.
All right. Well, hopefully everything works out over there for her.
Yeah.
Going to miss her and don't want to have anything bad go down. So hopefully we'll see her real soon. SGMT getting asked about. What's going on with that one?
And then I'll have you close out with your closing thoughts here, 13.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what I could add to SGMT. It looks like it's getting some movement right now. I'd be looking to the left on Friday and for some upside levels if you're going to trade this one. It looks like it's currently at one right now around 440. Next one I could see it getting up to would be that consolidation between, let's call it 445 and 455. Anyway, that's about all I got with SGMT. This has been a nice morning. Hopefully everybody's had a great morning as well. And I will see you all tomorrow. We'll have another great day.
And so will Lion. He cleared that up. He actually meant tomorrow. We'll see him tomorrow. 13, great stuff here yet again today, my man. Really appreciate it. And then appreciate everything from the chat. So thanks, everybody, for your support today. Thanks for the calls and thanks for being respectful to our guest here. We love and appreciate you all. I'm going to send you over to Trader Bacon, folks. We will see you tomorrow.